Hey people, Intro here, 3v3, Katrin, Purification Plant, blue team. Overtly Gemerous as an Apothecary, support hero fighting in melee by default, begins with a heal, a passive health regeneration aura. Alongside, Venjitron as a Farseer, support hero fighting in melee, some powerful buffs and control, the same Han elite scheme here, recolored. Rounding off the blue team is Aguxyz and a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive hero with powerful battlefield manipulation and control. The red team, it's Tyranids all the way down. First up, Fear as a Hive Tyrant, a durable hero walking through objects cannot be suppressed with powerful offense, disruption and support, begins in melee with a basic synapse. I shall call you Hugo. Alongside, JoshSkySter is a Ravener Alpha, a tiny hero, great mobility, powerful offense and a bit of support, begins with a ranged weapon in bright purple there. And rounding off the teams, Gomer Pyle as a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist, infiltrate and disrupt, some powerful offense and a bit of support, skulking around on this west side. This is 299, the first 299 replay on the channel. Guide just thrown up on those Guardians there. Make sure to check out the changes down below. I'll link them somewhere if you want to see what's going on with the updates. I'll try to point out the changes as I remember them. There's not a huge amount of wholesale changes. The bulk of the changes was in Imperial Guard and Ordo Malleus. They got quite a lot of changes. The rest of it was just tweaks and fixes along the way. Hive Tyrant might be 2v1'd here. Sorcerer coming back up this east side. Overtly's got Tax here. They might be looking for a Flamer. They are looking for a Flamer to get onto this power, forcing melee combat on the Termagants. Triple Termagants here for Fear. Now in a bit of danger, those Tactical Marines with Hormagaunts on them and the Hive Tyrant. And here comes an assist from Josh, but also there's two players here for the blue team. Aguxyz with double Chaos Space Marines. There they are. Gonna see a Doom Bolts here. That's a great target for it. Awesome hit on that Doom Bolts. The Hormagaunts do get away, but that was a huge amount of damage. Then they consumed another Heretics. Those Heretics are quite low. So the Sorcerer got 0 changes whatsoever. Very little changes actually for the CSM in general. For the old Chaos fellas, they seem to be relatively happy with where they are. The major change was that the Aspiring Champion Heretic leader guy now costs more resources, also more pop, and therefore more upkeep as well. And the Blood Crusher now gives far less experience when it's taken out, which is a nice change for it, I think. Doom Bolts flies in there as well. Hive Tyrant needs to run. Ravener Alpha might be quite dangerous here for the CSM, because they're going to be in melee with this guy, and he might get a model off him. Sorcerer's coming to try and help. There's a special attack. Now meleeing the other model. Needs to make sure he puts the Ravener in melee stance. Oh, didn't do it. Because a retreat hit there in melee might have got a model there. Warrior Brood's coming up. These guys got a slight reduction in their hit points. 25 less hit points per model, down to 325. But as you can see, they still want them on the field for that Synapse. Ravener Brood, though, with a cost reduction, down to 375.45. So you see Fear gets them on the field here. Gonna have a big ranged army, I guess. Venjitron gets some Rangers up. Rangers got a damage buff on their shots, although a cooldown was increased a bit on them, but I think it's still a big DPS increase for those guys. Guardians taken out. Tripled Guardians were up for Venjitron. Are the Rangers going to go as well? Looks like they've got away. Looks like those guys don't have their long rifles yet either. Over on the east side, Ravener Alpha goes down. Noise Marines up for Aguxyz, doing their thing with that Sonic Blaster, shutting down ranged attacks and doing some good damage. Maybe saving their Sorcerer there with that Cacophony, who does have the Sword of Flame. Looks like Overtly lost their scouts at some point and had to repurchase them. Oh, there they are. Their scouts went down here. I guess it's when they were microing on this east side. Howling Banshees up, coming quite late for Venjitron. Red team pushing down the east side. Double CSM trying to wear down those Warrior Brood fellas. Ravener Alpha got revived already, thanks to Fear's Hive Tyrant. Lumbering around is Hugo. Doom Bolts right on where the Ravener Brood were popping up there. But I think they're going to get a full power bash. Maybe even a decap. Map looking quite red right now, actually. West side. Venjitron gets the Doombringer. Never a bad choice, really. Designating something to take a bunch more damage isn't bad, is it? Guide thrown up on the Rangers. With those pistols, that debuff damage resistance on targets. Was that Pheromone? It was Pheromone, but they didn't... That was kind of odd. I guess it debuffs damage, doesn't it? Yeah. Typically expect to see it... Oh! Those tacks were saved by the Sorcerer of Aguxyz. Apothecary with their customized Stormbolter there. Quick thinking there from Aguxyz and observation. Got him out of trouble. That warp ability teleports a unit to the Sorcerer's location, any allied unit. Sneaky scouts doing their thing with shotguns and a sergeant as a grenade. Beautifully placed. Beautifully placed. How many kills was that? 7 or 6 or 7, I think? I hear Noise Marines being noisy. There's some Tzeentchian worship, and the aspiring champion was up on these heretics now. Don't see any Eternal War. Those guys having to get that node back because of the tactical marine bash that it got. Ravenous Alpha in melee again. Grenades from the Eldar. Guardians caught in a bad spot though. And the Farseer wasn't really helping there in melee. Throws guide on herself, I think. Just using ranged attacks. Does this have a good ranged attack? 10 DPS, it's not terrible. But I think you want to get stuck into melee. Looks like Josh got some Ravenous of their own, as we saw. Used in melee there. On the east side, slow and steady advancement from Aguxyz. They're not rushing forward to get onto that power again. Fear has lost the Hormagaunts. They got a brood nest up. I believe it costs 150 these days, a brood nest. Ouch! But they can reinforce off it. That is nasty. Doom bolts is so nasty, especially coming out of infiltration like that. They don't have a way to spot these infiltrated units over here, Fear. Don't have a warrior brood. 392 to 452 on the VPs. Burrow strike, that's risky. Look how low they are. Need to run, fellas. I think they're going to lose this brood nest, maybe. Sorcerer's getting quite low, so Aguxyz doesn't want to overextend. Just consume the heretic there. Yeah, the Termagants can't do anything against the Noise Marines. Pretty hard counter for those guys, unless they split up a lot. Doom bolts again. And they retreated out of there. Need help, says Fear. Through the mid. Red team are doing okay. Pheromones over here allows these guys to reinforce if they want to. But maybe they don't want to. Oh, is it only your own units? No, those are Gomer Pyle's units. Didn't seem to be reinforcing. I guess they didn't want to. Apothecary with Purification Rites as well. Helps to keep pressure off those tactical marines because they do so much heavy lifting for Gemerous and these fast teching builds that they do. Need to rely a lot on their attacks. The grenade does a little bit of work on retreat. Now they're shooting up these Ravenous tunnels. 1-to-1 cap. Sorcerer levels to 3. With that Sword of Flame, of course. And there's Eternal War on a double CSM. They can now shoot up Termagants pretty damn effectively. Warrior Brood coming in though, and Hugo the Hive Tyrant, of course. They got the node. Maybe? Oh, they didn't finish it. Noise Marines looking for a fight. And they found it. Ravenous tying them up in melee. There's another Ravenous Brood Burrow Strike as well. And Aguxyz off the field. Certainly brought their attention over here though, eh? So maybe these guys can get onto this Western VP 2v1. There's full auto on the Ravenous Alpha's face. Tier 2 all around. Looks like Josh was the last player to go. Overtly did have to replace their scouts, but I'm not sure how much that set them back, since power would probably have been their bottleneck and they would have upgraded those first scouts in the same way anyway. Maybe it meant they couldn't build a gen when they wanted to and thus slowed down their power. But it might have been that the gens were already up. Sergeant on the way for those tactical marines. The grenade misses. Warrior Brood looking for them with power melee. There's a heal. Some knockback from Purification Rites, and here come the Hormagaunts. Attacks have to leave. Getting back to the relative safety of Aguxyz and their double CSM with Noise Marines set up here. And of course those nasty Doom Bolts we've seen. Heretics seem to be mainly used as a battery for the Sorcerer at the moment. And some worship, of course. They're on this southwestern tower though. And they might get a full bash here. It might be worth decapping this with the Lictor. But now they've got some trouble with Dark Creepers getting guide on them. I don't think I've seen the Farseer use Doom yet. I don't remember seeing the effect for it. Through the mid, it's Chaos, fellas. Gonna try and grab that contested power. Tier 3 for Gomer Pyle. Double Zone Throats up for Fear into a Venom Brood. That's nasty damage. But look at that grenade. Very, very sneaky from Overtly. They're going to get one of them. And there's that Synapse backlash there. Very, very sneaky. On them in a flash. They weren't up for very long. Sneaks in and gets the grenade. Did not get a Warrior Brood up. Even against the Sorcerer's infiltration. Decent grenades from Venjitron. Was it worth pushing for them though? They might just lose this west side again. But it's 2v1, they probably would have lost it anyway. Does Gomer Pyle have something queued up? Probably not if they've got 1500 rec. Bit of a flank here. Fear the other side of the Chaos fellas now. There's a Burrow Strike. There's a Dark Flames and a Chains of Torment though. Thanks to the Robes of Torment. Nasty. You're going to flank me. This is what you get, apparently. Very, very killy, that is. GG, says Fear. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. They need some help from Josh. And then maybe just hard tech to tier 3 now. But I guess it's not really a hard tech if you've got double Zone Throats and Venom Brood out already. Oh, they got the ranged Synapse. Oh, that's a shame. They've lost all the Termagants. I was going to say maybe they'll just get Death Spitters, but they wanted the ranged Synapse to buff all the Raveners and Termagants and stuff, and they're all gone. 3-3-4 to 4-5-2. Heretics might wipe. Heretics do wipe. Cacophony didn't quite come in time. They were busy shooting their Sonic Blaster. I mean, it must be pretty fun to shoot that thing. As long as you've got some earplugs. Any war gear for Fear's Hive Tyrant? Nope, Hugo's got nothing. We do have the Synapse Aura for damage. Anything else? Armor of the Apothecary up. No surprises there for Overtly Gemerous. Level 4 Sorcerer has been so killy with those Doom Bolts and that Dark Flames we saw. CSM kind of caught napping here. I don't think they should have got caught that hard. Aguxyz knew they were coming, surely. Falcon on the way for Venjitron. Aguxyz goes tier 3. And Power Bash time should be quite quick because of the Venom Brood there. Unless they can stop it. There's the Chains of Torment again. There's a Doom Bolts. They start to be able to tough that kind of thing out though. Once they get their specialized Synapse going. They have the ranged Synapse here, giving increased health to the Termagants. And you can get Synapse from your allies as well. Oh, double Venom Brood for Fear, and they do have Death Spitters on the other guys. There's that advanced healing. Tax have their Sergeant, looking for a Power Bash immediately. They might get a couple of gens. Gonna take out some of these Infestation Capillary Towers. 35 red to pop these things up, I believe. Giving some speed and defensive bonuses. Can they get on the power? Termagants coming in. But the Banshees could tie them up, and so could the Farseer, and they're doing it. Trying to run interference for the Power Bash here. One gen goes down. Farseer doesn't seem to have much energy right now for abilities. Tax getting caught from the other side. Just got a heal though. They are taking a lot of damage though. A lot of damage. Ranged Synapse is such a power spike. And they're buffed by that Synapse Aura as well. Lots of good burrow strikes. Venjitron doesn't want to stay here too long. Chuck the grenades and leave, buddy. Looks like they just left. They just left. Level 3 Farseer. There's a grenade. Those guys stuck around for a grenade. And I think they're going to be alright. I think so. What did they get? 1 gen? 2 gens? I'm not sure. Been replaced. And here's a Carnifex from Gomer Pyle. There's the tier 3 for Josh. And it's triple Venom Brood for Fear. Now, the Death Spitters don't benefit from ranged synapse, right? Since they're not a non-synapse creature, I think. It just says nearby termagants are Raveners, so I guess that's that. Specifies the specific units. Shooting down the central mass. Oh, suddenly, double Mark of Khorne CSM, which is not a bad shout against the double Death Spitters. I mean, you could try to outshoot them with Mark of Tzeentch CSM. Zoanthrope gets got. What was that? Sigil of the Rift? It was Sigil of the Rift. I think they were trying to get the Zoanthrope in it. But he just got chased down instead by the Berserker as well. The Mark of Khorne, guys, not quite Berserkers. A Wraithlord now for Venjitron. They're not super interested in tier 3 right now. What we do see, though, are Terminators from Overtly Gemerous. Looks like they lost their other scouts along the way. Carnifex charges out, destroying a bunch of its own units here. I think, but a bunch of them are Rippers, though. Thornback Carnifex doing its thing. Falcon does have some anti-vehicle. You've now got a Wraithlord that could get a shoulder-mounted Bright Lance, also a big melee attack that will damage vehicles, and these guys with a Cyclone missile launcher. Fear with only triple Venom Broods now. Probably just ride that to tier 3. And they've got some good support here from Josh since that nasty Dark Flames they got. Venjitron has to get this VP back. The double for the red team. There's the tier 3 for Fear. Straight into a Swarm Lord, I would say, because the speed bonus and the reinforcement on all those Venom Brood fellas would be nice. Terminator's teleporting away to safety. Anything for this Lictor? Still with the pheromones only. Oh, Tyrannoform went off here. Completely missed that, of course. Not sure if it did too much. Mark of Khorne fella's getting shot to crap. Boombolts comes in, doesn't really bother these guys too much. Forcing some melee on them, look at that. Termagants in melee. Uh-oh, that's a nasty combo. Noise Marines when they're all locked in place by the Chains of Torment. These guys need to run, there we go. You can retreat out of the chains. Carnifex on the way now for Josh. Still the double for the red team. On the VP now. Carnifex survives. This Carnifex done some really good work so far for Gomer Pyle. Really good work. I wonder if they'll get another one. Just keep getting Thornback Carnifexes. Eventually they won't be able to stop them. Cyclone Missile Launcher to bash the power node there. I mean, it did the job. Noise Marines bashing on the east side. The Hive Tyrant now has Rending Talons to disrupt and counter the double Mark of Khorne CSM, I guess. Chaos Predator on the way for Aguxyz. Might be looking for the Mark of Tzeentch because they're expecting Carnifexes. But Mark of Khorne is always a good, solid, safe pick. Mark of Nurgle too, but I think I like keeping the damage output of the Mark of Khorne, I think. Sigil of the Rift gets these guys in the faces of the Venom Broods. And here's a flank from Overtly. They were trying to flank. Couldn't quite get there in time to get melee attacks off and stuff. We got plasma attacks now. There's a Seismic Roar. But needs to retreat through a bunch of stuff. Here you go. It's going to go down. Nasty flank. These guys are going to get on the power. Push, I got 2, says Fear. asking him to push this side 2v1. And they're doing it. There's a Neurothrope with a Cataclysm. The Falcon went down. Venjitron needs to run, needs to get out of here. What are they doing? They're sticking around way too long. Going to lose their entire army, I think. Yeah, Venjitron literally lost their entire army. And now they can... Oh, the power's bashed. Are they even going to bother decapping? It doesn't look like it. They're going for the natural VP now. Can the blue team recover from that? Venjitron needed to get the heck out of there. And they didn't. Fear with the Carnifex on the way. There's the Neurothrope from Gomer Pyle. That's a big Chains of Torment. Doesn't slow down the Carnifexes, though, into an Imperial Abyss. A very effective one, too. From Aguxyz. Nicely done. I mean, it killed a lot of low-tier models, but it's something. It got them away from the VP. Oh, Tyranids formation. Doesn't seem like it's going to wipe anything. Did some damage, though. And we did see a Mark of Tzeentch Chaos, Mark of Tzeentch Predator trying to chase down the Carnifex, using the charge to get away. Level 2 this thing, still going after it. Sorcerer straight onto the VP. Can they help out this Carnifex here? Is it going to chase? Maybe. It's chasing. Not a whole lot here that can stop it, and Neurothrope doesn't do much to a vehicle. These guys, oh, these guys have electroshock grubs. There it is, I got grubbed. Paroxysm does also slows you. Does it slow down vehicles though, Paroxysm? I don't think so. Because the psychic PvP damage doesn't do a lot to vehicles, but it does slow down units slightly, so it might slow down vehicles slightly as well. Carnifex on the way for Gomer Pyle. Tier 3 for Venjitron. The other players have to carry him quite hard here. 142 to 193. Chains into Dark Flames again. Doom bolts flying in. Lots and lots of death. The Mark of Khorne CSM fellas getting stuck in. Hormagaunts though ripping up that Sorcerer. Apothecary runs. Now, what's the deal with these Terminators? Have they teleported already? Throughout their Cyclone Missile Launcher, I don't see them teleporting, you guys. They might go down here. Because Death Spitters do really well against these fellas with their Inferno PvP damage. There we go, there's the teleport. They didn't actually drop a model. Farseer just hanging out. I think they got revived. I don't think they know that they got revived. They need to run. What else are you looking at? There's nothing else on the field and they still went down. Wow. The tax of overtly drop. That was a big fail from Venjitron. Had no other units to look at. And they still didn't retreat their Farseer when they got revived. Noise Marine's doing a nice cap. They've already bashed the gens over there, I guess. Somehow, a double cap for the blue team with a VP lead now. What is going on? Red team have the west side. They don't want to overcommit to this. I don't think it needs to bring 3 Carnifexes and a Neurothrope over here. More Terminators for Overtly. Now that's all they have. Double Terminators. Seer Council up for Venjitron in Tier 3. Dillying and dallying here from the Tyranids. They need to pick somewhere and apply some pressure, I think. They've got a massive advantage in their armies. They might not know this. They can't see the enemy rosters like we can. They got a decap though. I see Doom up on that Warrior Brood with Adrenal Glands, these guys. Seer Council will do a lot of damage to a Warrior Brood. They seem to be just sitting back for now, shooting their lightning Eldar hands. Eldritch Storm goes off in the back lines. Here come more Carnifexes though. Yeah, both Thornback from Gomer Pyle. Level 1 and level 2. Mark of Tzeentch tank could do some good work here. Just give it a screen of units in the front and he can sit back and do a bunch of DPS. There goes the Seer Council. Melee them, says Josh. Terminator's looking for power fists on this Carnifex, I think, which is why it turned around. 134 to 132. VP's very even. We've seen big losses on both sides. I mean, Fear's losses were much earlier, so they had time to recover. Venjitron is now recovering with Seer Council and an Autarch. It's only 2 units though. Down goes the Lictor Alpha. Noise Marines are wiped, but they got the decap, and down goes that Carnifex. There's a Paroxysm, but it came in a little bit late to threaten those guys. And there's that advanced healing from a level 8 Apothecary. Big heal. Double cap now for blue team. Can they really hold on here? How big those Tyranid armies are. Overtly now has a Librarian, so those Terminators are slightly safer. More Rippers being spawned. And there's a Genes to the Brood from Josh. With tons of power melee. Do they really have something to threaten the tank? I guess they still do have a Venom Brood with Venom Cannons in there somewhere. And the Stranglethorn Cannons will help out. 134 to 73. Doom up on this Carnifex. Autarch shooting it up with a fusion gun as well. Charges out. Slightly. Turns around though. Doom bolts. Dark flames. Red team were just getting messed up so fast whenever they approach. Hey, there's a GG. Blue team might have done enough. They might have done enough with so few units. Look, I mean, look at the impact the Sorcerer had just then. That's what you want when you talk about your hero impacting engagements. That was huge, huge. Through the mid, some Bloodletters hanging out. Looks like those Venom Brood guys got a decap. Can't do much to this tank. Death Splitters are not good AV. They still have good armies. Just haven't been able to apply them super great, you know. Autarch dealt with. Maybe taken out. Well, if the Carnifex was in melee mode, they would have got that Autarch there. 134 to 55. Red team aren't giving up quite yet. There's that Seismic Roar. Gets them off the VP, but the Mark of Corner CSM are a big threat to Hugo, who must run. There's a Tyranno formation. And a big push off it as well, and these things do give good buffs, these spires that come up. Genestealer's getting onto the Terminators. Carnifex is on them. Corrosive Devourer is in on the Ravener Alpha. There's Angels of Death from Overtly to try and escape. And a Paroxysm goes in. They might kill one of the Terminator squads. Red team have the 2-to-1 cap. Another Carnifex coming here for Gomer Pyle. Great unclean one up though for Aguxyz. Genestealer still doing their thing. Did a good job there. Can they get away though? I think they did, but I think Josh also dropped their Warrior Brood there with Adrenal Glands, which is a shame for those Genestealers later on. There's a Lictor Alpha. Very brave, trying to fight a great unclean one. It's not going to work out, buddy. Okay, they're okay. Brood nest up there, so nice place for it. Not sure how long it's going to last, but allowing these guys to reinforce and heal up a bit. Red team with a 2-to-1 cap. Lull in the action. Venjitron gets some more Dark Reapers. A bunch more Heretics for Aguxyz to repair and worship and stuff. I think it's worth Gemerous getting some more scouts up here to harass that VP. They're very good at that VP harass game. But it might be just that they're saving for more Terminators. 85 to 55 on the VPs. Tyranids decapping on the western edge with a Neurothrope. Got a big old brain, he knows how to decap stuff. That is Aguxyz going through the mid after their natural. And Fear is live to it. They've got more Death Spitters up, and why not? Terminators are a massive pain in the ass. Great Unclean One just charging on through. Aguxyz knows that they can teleport it out of trouble if they need to. They got a decap. Aguxyz got the decap. Heretics now being torn apart by Death Spitters. They're going to wipe him. They do wipe him. Great Unclean One took a bunch of damage there too. That's going to take a lot from the mass of Death Spitters, that Great Unclean One. Hive Tyrant on the cap. Might want to throw up another brood nest here near the VP or something. I guess it's not that far away from HQ. 68 to 27. Down goes Hugo to Hive Tyrant. Are they going to get a triple cap here, the blue team? There's a double. Double Dark Creepers now for Venjitron. This Autarch's been pretty cool so far. Level 2. Putting pressure on stuff with the fusion gun. With a shield up now as well. There's some Tzeentchian worship. It looks like blue team have it. With a double cap at the end. And there's the game. Blue team victory after one of their players completely got their army wiped out. What an awesome carry from Overtly and Aguxyz. And yes, Overtly did get more Terminators by the end there. Level 10 Apothecary. With those massive heals and lots of energy for advanced healing. Yeah, 200 energy here. And that's without the improved medical equipment. Level 7 Farseer. Level 9 Sorcerer was pretty awesome on the east side with those dark flames and chains and doom bolts. Just nasty. Level 5 Hive Tyrant is down. Poor Hugo. Level 7 Ravener Alpha doing huge amounts of damage. And we had a level 6 Lictor Alpha. There you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time.